That's when I realized that this is not for me. And the first thought was, just to escape the business, what do? Because you can't tell your dad that I want to do something else in life and not this, because you're the only son. Fail if you don't make a success of being a chartered accountant in a timely manner, then this is not the place. You have to find your own place in the world.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Spotlight with Chirag, जहां हम लाते हैं इंडस्ट्री के इंस्पायरिंग लीडर्स की जर्नी और उनकी सोच आप तक। आज के जो हमारे गेस्ट हैं उनकी भी जर्नी बहुत इंस्पायरिंग रही है। फ्रॉम बीइंग अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट टू वर्किंग एंड लीडिंग इंडियाज मोस्ट ट्रस्टेड रियल एस्टेट ब्रांड कॉल्ड रेमंड रियलिटी। दिस जर्नी शोज कि अगर आपके पास विजन और क्लैरिटी है, you can achieve success in any industry. So you have worked in different industries, steel, finance and now in real estate. सबसे ज़्यादा मज़ा कहाँ आता है?
For me, my first love.
ऐसा क्या देखा आपको लगता है कि उन्होंने जो आपने देखा that he thought यार ये बंदा तो मुझे चाहिए मेरे कंपनी में?
I think that's a question for him, not for me. You should ask him next time you meet him.
Raymond Realty has delivered a project 24 months prior.
Held a workshop and said, why will this project not be delivered on time? And which is a problem in our industry, is over-optimization by developers. तो थोड़ा 20,000 फुट FSI ज़्यादा दिखता है, तो लगता है कि यार इसको कैपिटलाइज कैसे भी करना ही है. And somebody has a desire to grow quickly, then he has no option left but to access public markets to raise more capital so that they can grow and meet their ambition.
सर एक चीज जो आपके टीम को आपके बारे में फनी लगी. Also, this episode is powered by Kalpatru Doors and Plywood, India's #1 door manufacturing brand. So let's now dive into the incredible journey of Mr. Harmohan Sahni, MD and CEO, Raymond Realty. So thank you, Mr. Harmohan, for being my guest on Spotlight with Chirag.
Thank you so much for having me over. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. So sir, मतलब आपने CA किया है, तो CA करना या लाइक आपका लाइफ में हमेशा से प्लान था टू बिकम अ CA या लाइफ ने पुश कर दिया आपको CA बनने में?
लाइफ में ऐसा कोई प्लान नहीं था. कुछ भी. I come from a business family and the thought was that I will always go into business and yeah, I'm the only son, so it was just natural. It was assumed that I will be in business. So once I finished my schooling, and I grew up in Delhi, and once I finished my schooling, went to college, Delhi University, finished college, and straight away jumped into business. And in any case, during summer vacations, all summer vacations were spent in the business, figuring out what really works and what are the nuts and bolts of the business. But when I went headlong into it, and within 4 to 6 months, that's all you are doing, and then you realize this is it, this is going to be my life. When you're doing it for summer vacation, it's, just for a short period of time, you're going back to your life. This is not your life. This is just an experiment or a small bit that you're doing. But once I realized that this is going to be my life, suddenly realized this is not for me, and it wasn't really in line with my core or the values that I wanted to live by. And of course, my ambition was much larger than what that business could offer me. It was a joint family business, many family members involved. So you know how it is in family businesses. By the time
I can understand that.
You could be 50-year-old and you would still be considered a young boy because the elders are still in the business. And during those times, people used to have kids quite early. So the difference between my dad and me was not great. It was barely 20 years difference. So it's not as though dad was going to be very old. So that's when I realized that this is not for me. And the first thought was, just to escape the business, what do? Because you can't tell your dad that I want to do something else in life and not this, because you're the only son. So then education was one way you could, that's an acceptable way of escaping your destiny in that sense.
Yes.
So a lot of my friends were joining chartered accountancy. So at that point in time, I thought, okay, this seems like a good bet. And naturally, I had not spent too much time studying in college and there were not too many options. I had not given any competitive exams, none of that, because you had to prepare for them beforehand. Because that wasn't the plan. The plan was to join the family business.
Yes.
So CS seemed like a good avenue. If you had 50% marks during my time in your graduation, you could just enter the field of course, succeeding in that was a different story altogether. So that's how I got into CA. But
Okay.
when I was joining chartered accountancy, my dad played a trick on me.
Okay.
And yeah, and I must thank him for that. And I still do. And I every time this topic comes up, I tell him that I'm a chartered accountant only because of you. So when I conveyed to him that I want to join chartered accountancy, he said, "Great." I mean, he's a sharp guy, so he knew what I was trying to do.
Yes.
And he could figure out that I'm not enjoying this. So he told me very clearly at that point in time that, if you succeed in chartered accountancy and you want to come back to business, the door is open. Please come back and, I'll welcome you with my arms open. But if you fail, if you don't make a success of being a chartered accountant in a timely manner, then this is not the place. You have to find your own place in the world. You figure it out. So for me, what it did for me was that there was no escape button. There was no bridge that I could cross back and, come back to where I was earlier. So that made me very serious about chartered accountancy. Even though I joined it because my friends were doing it, it was an accident. But yeah, so, after that, there was no looking back. Yeah.
True. So you have worked in different industries, steel, finance, and now in real estate. सबसे ज़्यादा मज़ा कहाँ आता है आपको?
I think all industries have their own nuances and quirks. But for me, my first love remains real estate.
Okay.
And my own behavior has told me that. I mean, not that I knew it in the beginning or even in the middle. But now if I look back, I can clearly see that this is my first love because I've left it twice and I have jumped right back in and I haven't taken too long. First time around when I exited real estate, that was to join Jindal Group for their aluminium and then power business, going back to commodities. But within a year, I jumped back into, when the opportunity was there, into real estate. And then after that, in the financial sector, I joined in 2017. I was there for 3 years. Again, when the opportunity came, I jumped right back into real estate. And it's quite an enjoyable field. I think it's in line with my core values and my needs. One of my deepest needs is to keep learning.
Okay.
So I think real estate clearly satisfies that need at many levels.
So, सबसे बड़ा एक क्वेश्चन मुझे मतलब ज़्यादा आपके लिए था कि हाउ यू लैंडेड इन लाइक रेमंड रियल्टी, कुछ रेफरेंस था या कहाँ से कुछ कनेक्ट्स था? एंड बेस्ट चीज़ तो मुझे जानने में बहुत इंटरेस्ट है सर कि आपको इंटरव्यू सेशन कैसा रहा विद मिस्टर गौतम सिंघानिया?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and it's a good interesting episode in my life's journey also.
Okay.
So, like I mentioned to you, in 2017 I was in financial sector, and I had spent 3 years there, and things were going well. I was well settled, and there was no need for me to look outside, or there was no plan. But around that time, a headhunter approached me and said, there is an opportunity and we would like to have a discussion with you. So I said, I'm not looking for a change. There is no desire for me to move anywhere. I'm very well settled here. I'm working amongst friends and I'm having a good time. And so they said, no, let's at least have a discussion. And, we also, if nothing else, we'll get to learn something from you and you can maybe help us identify 1 or 2 other people. I said, fine, let's have a conversation. So, yeah, generally if somebody asks for help, I mean, I rarely say no. So we had a discussion and that half an hour chat turned into 1.5 hour chat.
With Mr. Singhania?
No, this was with a headhunter.
Okay.
So this discussion, because I mean, I didn't even know what the opportunity was.
Okay.
I was actually going to help the headhunter identify and, figure out if there are any other candidates that he could. And the end result of that 1.5 hour interaction was a meeting was set up with the group CHRO of Raymond. Mr. Narayan happens to be his name, and he's still there, KNR, and we fondly call him Ken.
Okay.
So I met Ken, and Ken spent a couple of hours with me in a hotel in BKC, and he took me through the plans that the group has. And so, but I wasn't entirely convinced about the thing. So I met Ken once more after that, because he said, let's continue this dialogue, and we'll see where it goes. There is no commitment from your side. So I met him, and that eventually led to a meeting with Mr. Singhania. He says, just meet Mr. Singhania.
Okay.
Whether you like it or not, just have a meeting with him. I said, great. I mean, he's a very well-known personality. It's an opportunity to meet him. To meet him, and why not?
Yes,
you know,
100%.
He's a well-known industrialist in business circles. So I went and met him.
So it was at his office.
This was at JK House.
JK House, okay.
Yeah, so JK House, there is a floor which is meant for meetings and all. We uses that. So I met him there, and we spent some time together. He shared his vision for the business with me, and after that we had 2 more meetings. So till we finally, kind of shook hands on this and said, yes, we would like to work together. And so that's how it was.
तो आपने सोचा नहीं होगा ना कि मतलब मैं जाऊंगा उनको मिलने के लिए और मुझे ही जॉब ऑफर हो जाएगा.
No, but it was clear that the meeting was for a position itself.
Okay.
Even though I said, I can see skepticism in your language and your body language and the words that you're choosing, but just meet CMD. And so I said, fine. So once I met him, he's very charismatic, he's very passionate. And even though the business was just 1.5 year old, the real estate business.
Yes.
But his passion and his desire and his vision came through in a very strong manner. And I decided to take a bet then. Yeah.
ऐसा क्या देखा आपको लगता है कि उन्होंने जो आप में देखा that he thought यार ये बंदा तो मुझे चाहिए मेरे कंपनी में?
I think that's a question for him, not for me. You should ask him next time you meet him.
So anytime if I get a chance to meet him, मैं पक्का उनसे वो चीज़ के बारे में पूछूंगा. So how is your journey currently going on in Raymond Realty in terms of responsibilities?
I mean, it's a business, and naturally there are a few of us who are in the leadership position, and they would be at CXO level, and I am one of them. So as a team, we are running this business. So as far as responsibilities are concerned, it's very clearly there is a strategic plan which has been crafted by the team jointly, of course. And my role I see as only of a cheerleader and a coach.
Okay.
So that's the only role I have, and rest of it, I think the team is there to perform everything else, which is you will find this quite unique in real estate industry, particularly where the owner promoter typically leads from the front, and in some organizations they do everything.
Yes.
And there are only people who are just supporting them, and they're more like water boys, if I may say. So but what we are trying to do is different. So we brought in practices from other industry, and in line with that, I consider my role to be only of a cheerleader and a coach. And of course, at the same time, I'm constantly learning from the team also as to what are the areas that coaching is needed, and what are the areas in which I also need to be coached.
Okay.
So while I am coaching them, I'm also getting coaching from somebody else while that is happening. So yeah, I think that will just succinctly summarize as to what actually my job here is. So the objective is to deliver on the strategic plan that we have put in place, and then of course we have annual plans based on that, and the ambition and the overall vision for the business is there as to where we want to be.
So you said about delivery plan. Recently, I guess I've heard news and there was a big PR around it कि Raymond Realty has delivered a project 24 months prior to its real-time schedule, and you had a really big launch. तो मतलब उसके पीछे की मेहनत क्या थी? Like वो thought आया कैसे टीम में कि ये कुछ अलग करना है? Because I guess that is literally a miracle thing happening.
You're right. I mean, you're talking about 10x Habitat, which we delivered 24 months before the RERA timeline. And the RERA timeline, these were 42-story towers with parking and amenities and clubhouse and all of that together. And the timeline for this project was about 4.5, 5 years. Which was committed time in line with what the industry timelines are. But we delivered it in 3 to 3.5 years time. So which is about 24 months before the RERA timeline. In fact, we got a certificate from RERA on that, which is a unique certificate. Nobody else can boast of a certificate like that. So RERA authorities themselves recognized us and they said this is something which needs to be repeated in the industry by many more players because this is what is required.
वही इतना रियल एस्टेट में पॉसिबल नहीं दिखा नहीं है मतलब कभी ये चीज.
See, I mean, the way we see it is that we set out to do something in this industry, and not from the industry has actually helped us.
Yes.
So a lot of thoughts which came in from the manufacturing mindset to other industry practices that we brought in, even though the core team which is actually doing the execution is from the real estate industry. But the environment makes a very big difference. One example you will see is that there are certain regions in the country which are known for labor activism, and they are associated with not delivering the productivity that is being promised. But you take those people from that region and you put them in a high energy place like Bombay, that same person itself will behave very differently.
True.
Will deliver the productivity, will not result in labor activism. And it doesn't matter which part of the country he's from. I mean, there are 2-3 regions in the country which are known for labor activism in that sense. So same thing applies here also. So when you are put in the Raymond environment with the manufacturing mindset and the approach of the promoter and what we are trying to solve for in the industry. So what are we really trying to solve for? We are trying to solve for just 3 things. And those are the only 3 things that we are acutely focused on. Number 1 is that we want to deliver a quality product. Number 2 is we want to deliver on time or before time. And number 3 is we want to keep the customer service during the sales process, during the construction process, and even years after the delivery as one of the highest standards in any industry that you take. Now, these are the 3 things we are trying to solve for. And I don't think we have solved them yet, but it's always a journey. It's always a journey. But, you would tell me that these are hygiene conditions. Why are these things to be solved? It's a pity actually. In our industry, unfortunately, that's the case.
Yes.
Because, I don't want to belittle anybody, but that's how I have operated earlier. Project gets delayed by 6 months. It's considered on time, or it's considered bahut jaldi de diya. Because the usual delays are 2 years, 4 years, something like that. So we said, okay, let's solve this. So what if it's hygiene? The customer deserves this. They expect it. This is the largest ticket purchase that they will ever make in their life. And it's a very emotional buy. And if we are able to address these 3 things, we are meeting all their emotional needs. They will feel happy about it, and they will feel vindicated about making this large financial decision and a commitment.
Yes.
And if we are able to solve this, then what could be better? And like one of these 3 things was timely delivery or before time delivery. So our first project, we took it as a pilot project and say, okay, इसमें अभी क्या कर सकते हैं? What are the things? What are the nuts? And let's break it down. Why do projects get delayed? So, Charlie Munger, you would have heard of Charlie Munger, has this principle called inversion. So where you invert something and then you look at it from the opposite side. So we said, okay, let's use inversion here. And we held a workshop and said, why will this project not be delivered on time?
Okay.
So everybody was to come up with ideas, and there was a prize for that. That who will come up with the best idea why this project will fail or not be delivered in time. So we listed down everything possible, and once we were satisfied that we've done a fairly good job of making sure that this project will not be delivered on time and this will fail. Then the next workshop was how do we mitigate all this?
Okay. Proper एकदम planning हुई आपके यहाँ से.
Yeah. So once we knew what were the mitigating factors, at the end of it, it boiled down to just 2-3 critical factors. It wasn't while we had a laundry list, and when you start to think why something will fail, everything under the sun can make it fail, right?
True.
So you go
Real
down
estate
to
में common है वो तो.
you go down to earthquake, to flood, to every natural calamity, to people not performing, to everything under the sun you can list down, right?
Yes.
But when you try and aggregate and bucket them, and then you come down to the core of it, at the end of the day, it's just 3-4 or maybe 2 or 3 things which will delay a project. First thing is very clearly poor planning if you have done. That could delay a project. Second is if you don't give decisions on time. That could delay a project. Third thing is that your funding is not done properly. That could delay a project. And the fourth thing, which I think most people miss and which is a problem in our industry, is over optimization by developers. थोड़ा 20,000 फुट FSI ज़्यादा दिखता है तो लगता है कि यार इसको कैपिटलाइज कैसे भी करना ही है. And then you go into a spiral. Then you're revising plans, you're revising approvals, and God knows what all you're doing. You will try and do all kinds of yoga.
True.
You will stand on your head, you will, put yourself in knots, try to over-optimize that small part of it. So we said, okay, these are the 4 things we must take care of. And in terms of funding, we said, let's go down to even our contractors and service providers' financials. How are they managing their cash flow? How are they managing their working capital? Okay, we do a good job managing our working capital. But if my contractor doesn't manage his working capital properly, there could be a delay there also.
100%.
We sat down and we did planning over there also. And now that has become part of our SOPs, that this is something we have to do for every project. And
finally, then you made it.
So the first 3 towers we delivered in 24 months before RERA timeline. Then we delivered 2 more towers, which was also 18 months before RERA timelines.
Okay.
Then we have just delivered more towers. That is also before time. In December, we are delivering another project, which is our first address by GS here in Thane itself. That will also be, it will actually be almost again 2 years ahead of RERA timelines. But we are not, taking a longer period as commitment and then showing that. We are taking the industry norm, because if I do that, फिर मेरा माल नहीं बिकेगा. Nobody will buy from me. I say 7 years and deliver in 5 years, but if the industry, everybody is saying 5 years, I can't say 7 years. So it is in line with any industry that we are promising, but we are going down to the brass tacks. And like I said, we are trying to solve for all 3 things, which is the quality product, timely delivery, and customer service. So we are acutely customer focused. See, in our industry, the developers are principally developer focused, and it's only when it serves their own need they show some focus on the customer. But that's what we have chosen to change in the market. And I'm not saying all developers are like that, but principally, if you see the behavior in the past has been, it's changing. But yeah, what we are trying to do is stay acutely customer focused. We are a secondary purpose, and we believe that's how we'll be able to build a brand over a longer period of time, because we want to be in business for the next 50, 100 years for real estate.
Sir, I see every brand, every specifically targeting, अगर मैं real estate का देखूँ last 2 साल में, every brand wants to go for IPO and wants to be public. Why suddenly that trend has come in real estate, and उसके पीछे मेहनत क्या लगती है?
See, IPO is not unique only to real estate. It will be there for every industry. It's basically accessing public markets for raising more capital. We live in a capital-starved country, so capital is scarce, and that's why we need more and more capital for our growth, and the GDP is growing. We are one of the fastest growing countries as per the recent data which has been there for the last 2-3 years. So let's say in real estate, let's examine where all the capital really comes from. If you look at the entire capital stack, it's first going to be personal equity of the developer, either he has family wealth or he has got some equity capital from before, he will use that because our industry is not really a recognized industry in the banking as per the Banking Act. So you don't get money for land purchase, you won't get money for approvals. It's only for construction that you can get some bank funding, which is the cheapest form of capital that you can get in the country today. And if that is not available, then for land and approvals, you will use your personal equity. And you can't even sell your project till you get RERA approval. And for that, you need the approvals in place. So you keep coming back to needing more equity for land as well as approvals before the project is launched. Once the project is launched, you will sell something, so you will get buyer's equity. As you know, either it will replace your equity, it will release your equities in some manner, you can use it for next project. Or even before that, if your equity is not enough for approvals in land, there is MES funding which will be available, either from NBFCs or AIF, which are not subject to the Banking Regulation Act. Now, that's very expensive money. That is, ranging from 16 to 20% is the kind of cost you will pay per annum for raising that money. And then, of course, in the end, like I said, you have bank funding, which is only for doing your construction. Now, if this is the capital stack and somebody has a desire to grow quickly, then he has no option left but to access public markets to raise more capital so that they can grow and meet their ambition. That's one of the key and the biggest reason. The other reason is also, if you have already been in the business, you've got a portfolio of projects, you built the business, and you are seeking to create value for either for the next generation, or you want to bring in an investor who's looking for an exit. And the best way of exit is to have access to public markets, because if you're listed, then the exit becomes that much easier. And that's another reason that people want to create that wealth, so the valuation becomes a game, and you need to do an IPO. So these are the two key reasons why anybody would want to do it, and more so in real estate in that sense. And just now the cycle is good, so it's a good time to access, because timing is important for public markets. You can't do it in a downturn, right? So these are the two things. And your second part of your question was that what does it take to do an IPO? I think it's very simple. You just have to have consistent performance and have good governance. Only two things you need.
Okay.
Easier said than done, but both things are
Has
critical.
to go hand in hand.
Yeah. If you want good valuation, then you need a consistent performance and you need good governance.
Okay.
Both are needed.
So you said about performance and how Raymond growth जो scale पे कर रहा है Raymond Realty आज के time पे. So what are future plans that Raymond Realty has right now?
So I think Raymond Realty, of course, it'll have financial objectives and numbers and all that. But beyond that, what we are trying to do is very different from the numbers and all. We believe that numbers will be a result of what we do in business, what we are trying to bring about a change in the industry. You can say that we are new boys, so we are foolish in that sense. But sometimes foolishness is good. So we don't know the rules. We are inventing our own rules as we go along. And we say, चलो football ऐसे नहीं ऐसे खेलेंगे, ये rule change कर देते हैं.
Okay.
और अगर within the four walls of law it is there, we can safely change that rule, right? We don't have to play by the rules of what people have done so far. So, like I said, some of those three things that we are trying to change in earlier during our conversation. And that's one thing we are trying to do. The other thing is we are trying to maintain a very strong financial discipline in our growth. So whichever way we grow, we want to make sure that our return on capital employed is very high. Today, if you see in our industry, there will only be a handful of players who will have a good return on capital. They will have good margins, but return on capital employed may not be that great. And there are several reasons for it, because I think time value of money is something which this industry has not respected, because inefficiencies have invariably paid off. because the more the project delays, the value goes up, and you say, okay, my margin has gone up, but you don't see the hidden cost, because as time is elapsing, the time also has a cost.
Yes.
And a lot of people are not seeing that, but we are very acutely focused on that. So return on capital. So while we are doing all this, we are doing the growth, our return on capital should also be high. So that automatically brings in a lot of discipline in the way we conduct the business. And governance also automatically goes high, because you are, you are looking at your dollars, you're looking at your pennies, you're basically pinching everywhere, but not losing sight of the objective of delivering good quality, delivering before time, keeping the customer. So you spend on the right things. And the things which are extraneous to the objective, you cut out all of that.
Yes.
And once you do that, then automatically your growth will be of high quality. So that's exactly what we are trying to do. We are trying to build a high quality business which will last for the next 50, 100 years, and will be recognized for the good work that we are doing, will be recognized for the customer centricity that we bring in our product, in our services. And rest of it is all going to be byproduct, numbers, all of that will be a byproduct of that. That's the core. We don't want that core to be disturbed at all. And everything else will be built around that.
So any key projects you are excited about, like Raymond, if they are planning for next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, the land that we have in Thana itself, that land is a very valuable piece of land for us, and it has given us rich dividends so far. That was the launch pad for the business when we started. And so that's very exciting, because we keep introducing new products here, we keep segmenting the market further. So that, of course, is there. That's our mainstay. But going forward, lots of new projects that are coming up. We already started one project in Bandra, which has done very, very well. In fact, the success has surprised us also. It's way beyond what we had planned for. And in fact, we've been pre-launching some of the towers which were meant for this year. We had to launch last year, and what we were going to launch next year will have to be brought forward to this year. So Bandra's given us a lot of success. So we, as a result of that, we are going to be launching another project in Bandra soon. In fact, it'll happen within a quarter from now. So Q3, Q4, between that we have 2 to 4 projects which will launch. So we've got locations like Bandra, which we are covering, Vadala, which is now BKC2, as you know.
Yes.
And that's very exciting, because it's a very large project, 1.5 million square feet of carpet area that we'll get to sell there. And now with the new MMRDA announcement of BKC2 auction starting right now, and you know what the prices in BKC1 have been. Even if you take this as 20% or 30% lower pricing, it will still be, close to 70,000-80,000 rupees a square foot on commercial on this side of the final product. And we've got, of course, a resi project right there, and BKC1 doesn't really have too much of residential, barring 1 or 2 projects. I think only 2 developers have done some work over there.
Yes.
And that's about it. So here, this will be a nice mixed use. So you will have commercial, which will be done. It'll be better planned than BKC1. It also doesn't have the height restriction. So you will see better products and better buildings, and the accessibility is also going to be better, because from the Eastern Express you have direct road which goes in, and it's a very wide road. Today BKC1 has many choke points,
Yes.
It has 5 entries, but all of them are choked. The government has done a lot of work now, but looks like that the pace of growth of the vehicles has gone beyond the infrastructure development which has happened. So new arteries which are coming up also are getting choked. So that BKC2, that's very exciting. So that's something we are very excited about. Then there'll be a launch in Mahim also that we'll be doing. That's also a marquee location that we have. There will be sea view from first floor.
It's more towards luxury segment.
Yeah. It is more towards premium to stopping before ultra luxury and all. We are not looking at 50 crore, 100 crore apartments anywhere.
Okay.
As of now, because our belief is very strong for starting from premium and stopping just before ultra luxury. So that's the segment that we want to address. Today, if you see the market in India, the bottom of the pyramid is not really firing for several reasons. I mean, I don't want to get into those reasons. Anyway, we have chosen not to be in that market, and for us the reason is that we believe we don't have strength over there, either of brand or of operationally making it a success, because you require a different mindset.
Yes.
And that mindset, I think our strength lies somewhere else. So I rather play to my strength than try and crack, an unbreakable egg. So
True.
I rather look at something where we have a strong suit. And we believe our brand lends itself to the premium category. So we have a right to win there. We have already proven that we can do good product, we can deliver before time. Customer service is another area where we believe we've done a lot of work and we continue to do much more work. In fact, I have just now created a cell which is focused only on customer service, and there is uh, almost a CXO level person who has joined us recently
Okay.
for focusing on customer service, and he cuts across all functions. So it's not just about sales or CRM. He will have access even to the finance department, construction department, because customer service is something which touches all
That is
parts
the
of your
main thing.
organization.
Yes.
So that's another area that we are working on. So all these strengths, if you bundle them all together, I think we have a strong right to win in that segment. So that's where we are playing currently.
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है ये कन्वर्जेशंस, जेन्युइनली बहुत सीखने मिल रहा है, समझने मिल रहा है, नोइंग मोर टुवर्ड्स रेमंड रियल्टी, एंड आपकी जर्नी भी बहुत इंस्पायरिंग रही है. लाइक समवन हु इज़ वाचिंग दिस वीडियो एंड जो आप अभी इस पोजीशन पे हुआ, हैंडलिंग सच अ बिग एम्पायर ऑफ रेमंड रियल्टी, व्हाट लीडरशिप क्वालिटीज़ जो आपको पहले किसी ने एडवाइस की रहेगी या गाइड की रहेगी, जो आप उसको आज अपने इंडस्ट्री के लिए यूज़ कर रहे हो, सो व्हाट इज़ दैट एडवाइस, व्हाट डू यू थिंक, मतलब क्या आप फॉलो कर रहे हो जो आपको इतना सक्सेस दे रहा है आज के टाइम पे?
See, it's very difficult to give advice to anybody unless somebody is in the receptive mode. And unless somebody asks for advice, you should never give advice. Because that's one thing I've learned in life. And stay quiet, listen, learn, and then if somebody asks for advice, then the best way to advise is to just ask questions. And since I don't have that gentleman in front of me asking me questions,
Okay.
unless you want to ask me specific questions, then I will ask a question in return, because giving answers never really helps anybody. That's my experience. It has to come from self-realization. And there are lots of people out there who probably have a better formula. Everybody has a winning formula, and everybody wants to stick to that formula because it has served them well. And there may be many out there who will have a much better winning formula than me. But the thing is, you have to stick to the course.
What has really worked for you?
So see, 2-3 things which have worked for me. If I was to just look at the whole thing and bucket it very clearly, one thing is, who are you? Second thing is, why are you doing what you're doing? Third thing is your skill set that you bring. And that is, in my view, only 10% of the thing. Skills that you bring to the table are only 10%. Then the other big thing is your ability to learn new stuff. So that curiosity which you had as a child, that you see electric socket and you want to put your finger in it, you have to continue putting your finger in it, even when you're 50.
True.
So, and get the shock as though you're getting it for the first time.
Yes.
So that curiosity, and the ability to learn from it and apply that learning. And then, of course, the other large part is the hard work that you get. Everybody says luck plays a very big role. Yes, of course, luck is 50% of everything.
Yes.
But how do you get luckier? There is a formula to that also. The more number of attempts you make, the luckier you will get, because everything in life is maths at the end of the day. It's a percentage game. It's a probability. If you go and stand in front of the road like this,
Yes.
in the middle of the road every hour, chances of you getting hit by a truck are very high. If you never go out, that chances reduce, right? The same is with good things. This I'm giving you not a good thing example because it stays with you. So if you let's look at people like Michael Jordan, for instance. If you look at his stats, and the stats are divided in long shots, free shots, and 3-pointers. What do you think his long shot percentage is? Percentage means the number of shots that he took, and he's the greatest player in basketball that is ever existed on earth till now, right? That is a well-known fact.
Yes.
So long shot is when you're doing play, there is competition, everybody is trying to take the ball away from you, and you make an attempt to score a basket. What do you think is his percentage from number of shots taken versus scoring?
I guess many attempts, obviously, but he has given it.
So it's in the 30s, 40s.
For that one hit.
So how did he become? Because he took so many shots.
So
he did not say that perfect conditions will come, this will happen, that will happen, then I will position myself and I will take a shot. जब पैसा होएगा तब करेंगे, जब पढ़ाई पूरी करेंगे तब, जब शादी हो जाएगी करेंगे. We all have reasons, right? Reasons. Yeah. This is what happens to New Year resolutions.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start from the first of month. I'll start from 1st Jan. I'll start next hour.
मैं 1st Jan को gym जाऊंगा. That is the main thing people have.
So take lots of shots. And all the greats have shown us this.
Yes.
His 3-pointer percentage is very low. It's in some 30% or something.
Okay.
चलो ये छोड़ो. Perfect condition when you get a free shot. Right? When there is a foul and you stand there and you take a shot.
Throw,
and nobody is there. There is no competition. It's just you and the ring. And your skill. There is nothing else, right?
Yes.
That percentage is not more than maybe I think 78-80%.
True.
So there also, the more shots you take, the higher your record will be.
100%.
So you have to stay the course. You have to keep at it. So luck, when I said. So if I was to summarize all that we've talked about, one is know yourself. Knowing yourself is very key. Then your learnability has to be high. So whatever you have learned about yourself and what you think requires a change or requires working on, you have to learn those things and you have to stay the course and keep doing all this. And your skills also come, but that's only 10%. But then those skills can also be learned. And there are so many others who have that skill.
True.
Skills are aplenty. We are a country of 1.4 billion people here. You throw a stone, you will find a meritorious person.
True. कोई ना कोई आ ही जाएगा बीच में खराब करने चीज़ों को.
तो उसके पास स्किल होगा, उसके पास सब कुछ होगा. But then what's the difference? The other things, the softer elements is the difference.
Yes.
So that's what has worked for me. And that's my formula, and it's ever changing. It's never static. It never stays the same. Every 2 years you meet me, I'll be a different person because I'm working on some parts of myself.
True.
There is this famous philosophical experiment called ship of thesis. It's a thought experiment you would have heard of, which essentially goes that if a ship is there and every few months you change one part of the ship, and after 2 years all the parts of that ship have been changed, is it the same ship or it's a different ship?
It's a different ship.
There are arguments for and against, and it is still not been settled. Various philosophers has
True.
kind of come up with arguments. But long story short, the point is really that you have to keep looking at parts of yourself and keep changing them. So over a period of time, people will still relate to you from the past because they don't know any better. They don't know what you're working on, what has changed, what has not changed. वो तो आपको जब से जानते हैं, वो तो वहीं से रिलेट करेंगे.
100%.
कि ये स्कूल में मेरे को चौक मारा करता था, ये तो शैतान बच्चा है, तो वो वहीं से रिलेट करेंगे. If they haven't experienced you in between and they're meeting you after 30 years.
Yes.
So, but that's the nature of the world we live in.
अपने ना चाह के भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें बोल दी. So that anyone who is watching this, आई गेस ये बहुत सारी लर्निंग्स ही है दैट पीपल कैन फॉलो. तो सर बहुत ही अच्छा लगा आपसे कन्वर्जेशन करके. बट बिफोर वी एंड द शो हमारा एक अच्छा रैपिड फायर राउंड होता है which we will begin right now. So here we begin the rapid fire round with Mr. Harmohan Sahni. So sir, let's begin. एक वर्ड जो आपको बेस्ट डिस्क्राइब करता है.
Dependable.
Okay. Favorite stress buster after a long day?
Listening to music.
Okay. Any special genre you like?
I am genre agnostic. I can listen from bhajans to
Okay.
rap to anything.
Okay. सर एक चीज जो आपके टीम को आपके बारे में फनी लगती है.
I think सब कुछ.
अच्छा. थाने या साउथ मुंबई रियल स्टेट फ्यूचर कहाँ ब्राइट है?
थाने ऑफ कोर्स.
एक हैबिट जिसे आपको लगता है कि सबको अडॉप्ट करना चाहिए.
डिसिप्लिन.
तो सर अगर आप सीए नहीं होते तो कौन सा प्रोफेशन चूज करते?
एक्टर.
ओके. कौन सा आपका फेवरेट एक्टर है सर?
नसीरुद्दीन शाह.
अरे बाप रे. तो चलो थैंक यू सर. हियर वी एंड द रैपिड फायर राउंड. बहुत अच्छा लगा सर आपसे बातें करके, बहुत कुछ सीखने मिला एंड मिलते रहेंगे सर फिर. थैंक यू फॉर योर टाइम सर.
थैंक यू वेरी मच.
थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू सो मच दोस्तों फॉर वॉचिंग दिस पॉडकास्ट. मुझे उम्मीद है कि आपको ये बातचीत पसंद आई होगी. अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा और आपने कुछ नया सीखा तो वीडियो को लाइक करें, शेयर करें और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें. और अपने थॉट्स आप कमेंट सेक्शंस में दे सकते हैं. ऑल्सो दिस एपिसोड इज पॉसिबल कॉज ऑफ कल्पतरू डोर्स एंड प्लाईवुड, इंडियाज नंबर 1 डोर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ब्रांड. और टिल देन नए गेस्ट, नए दोस्त आते रहेंगे. चिराग लकी सरानी टेकिंग साइन ऑफ.